What's up, everybody? This is Talkin All That Kazz, and I am DJ Kazzeo. I want to thank you for checking out this particular episode of Talkin All That Kazz. On this particular episode, I got another great interview that I conducted here on my radio show at 90.9 FM KHTC in Salinas, California. But before we get going with that, I want you to go to this address, djkazzeo.com, and connect with me on social media. Whether it's on my Facebook, on my Instagram, on my Twitter, or even if you go and subscribe to my Mixcloud channel, you can hear all my radio shows that I do in their entirety, music, commentary, and interviews. But this right here, Talkin All That Kazz, this is for just the interviews, okay? I want to thank everybody who checked out the first round of interviews that I put up. Now we're on to the second round. This particular round, I'm going to focus on 2019, but I'm going to sprinkle it in with some more current stuff too. So you never know what you're going to get. Just sit back, relax, and enjoy another edition of Talkin All That Kazz with me, DJ Kazzeo. That's right. Back in the place right here. It's 90.9 FM KHTC Radio Bilingüe. And as I promised earlier, I am joined by a very special guest right now. Someone who was on the show about 8 years ago, bringing her back because she's got a new song out. Miss Jocelyn Enriquez. What's happening, Jocelyn?
What's up? How's everybody doing tonight?
We're out here. We're just playing music and looking forward to talking to you for a couple minutes, getting some time out of your busy schedule. So first and foremost, I got to ask, I see on the news that there's some storms and whatnot happening in Texas. Is that affecting you?
No, you know what? We are located centrally in Texas, and Texas is huge. I mean, you could go east, and it's like another 3-hour drive to Houston, and then you go west, and it's an 8-hour drive to El Paso. So we're pretty much safe in the clear right now. Nothing to be afraid of, but we're all good.
That's good to hear. That's good to hear. Growing up, pretty much all your life in California, was it a culture shock moving out to Texas?
It was for the most part, but you know what? It's really cool because we call some of us part of the Texodus, where we left left California to move to Texas, and it's actually the makeup of the city, especially here in San Antonio, has changed significantly. I've been out here for 13 years, and it's not too bad.
Mm-hmm. I like that, the Texodus. I like that.
Yes.
That's a nice
part of the Texodus. Yeah, I was a little afraid at first because, especially being Filipino, there's not, I was so ignorant. I didn't think there was going to be a lot of Filipinos out here. Mm-hmm. And so, of course, I packed my jugs of soy sauce and vinegar and bags of rice, and to my shame, there was a Asian store down the street from where I live. So go figure, the Lord knew, and He took care of us. So it's all good.
You're like, you mean I tricked TSA and so I could bring all this stuff on the flight, and I didn't even need it?
Okay, exactly. Yeah. So no, and I don't own a horse. I don't, we have regular cars, we have Target, we have malls, and so, Texas is a nice place to live and a nice place to raise a family.
You don't drive a truck with a gun rack, do you?
Oh no. Yeah, you don't trust me with a gun.
Okay, well, you don't gotta tell me twice. Hey, so I want to go back to the beginning because I wanted to touch upon as much stuff in your career as I could. Talk to me. I saw this on your Wikipedia page, so it may be true, it may not be true. You can verify it and whatnot. What was the whole status with the group Pinay Divas, and how far did that get before you went solo and released your first album?
Well, okay, so Pinay Divas was formed up me and this other girl that I grew up with in the Bay Area, and we just wanted to perform and perform at PCNs at especially in Berkeley, because that's where she was going to school. And so, you know, we did that for fun, and then something happened where the record label that I was signed to at that time got a hold of a solo performance of me, and so it was all good. I mean, it was a mutual thing. They were the girl that I was singing with, as far as Pinay Diva, she was very well into her academics, and I was like, I just fresh from out of high school. I was a freshman my senior year in college, and I was like, you know what? This is an opportunity that I could not refuse. And literally, I remember it was 25 years ago when I recorded I've Been Thinking About You, and that literally changed my life overnight. And so it was, you know, back in the day, everybody wanted to sing or be in a group. So that was just an opportunity for me to, I guess, you know, to develop, you know, performing in front of people. So it was fun, and I actually got a chance to see the girls 2 years ago when I performed at the Greek after how many years of being absent from the stage, and it was awesome to reconnect. And you know, everybody has lived lives and are married or have kids, and so it was nice to catch up with everyone. But at the same time, you know, that was a sweet time for me back in the day to just share that with the girls and to do something that we love. And I know that they perform too every now and then. So you know, it's nothing but great memories for all of us.
Mm-hmm. I was under the impression that this was a high school thing, but as you said, there was when you were starting college.
Yes. I was in high school. They were in college. You know, the little, you know, the high school girl liked hanging out with college girls. So it was fun.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, you know, I mean, and again, the use of the word divas, I'm told, or as I read, you guys were kind of like a Panay version of En Vogue, because you took that from one of their album titles, right?
Exactly, yes. And we did a lot of their repertoire. So, you know, you got the funky divas and you got the Panay divas. So it was fun. It was fun to do that as a group, and especially for PCNs and stuff like that. So, yeah, that's how we got our name.
Okay, got you. And then, you know, so they were actually, as a group, you guys were also signed to Classified. Is that how that worked? And then
no, actually I was signed, and then they got signed later on, I think after that. So yeah, it was me back in 93 when I got first signed to Classified Records, which was a independently owned record label in the Bay Area. And we had really great memories, you know, just the beginning of the beginning for all of us. So it was fun.
Right. Now, you know, when you're starting out like that, I mean, obviously we're talking, you know, 25 years ago, social media was nowhere to be found at that time. Now,
No.
now social media is like everybody sees it as the key form of promotion for, you know, independent artists such as yourself, putting out new music and whatnot. So how has the rise, so to speak, of social media kind of shifted your outlook on how you go about, you know, getting the word out about your stuff and you know, all that kind of info?
Oh yeah, I cannot believe how helpful social media has been, you know, for me to be able to promote my music, especially because I've been out of the scene. I remember, you know, you would have to really promote your music, go to different venues and radio stations and different clubs to be able, and meet different DJs to be able to you know, introduce your music to them. And now it's like a flip of a button, if you will, and say, hey, this is my song and whatnot. So it's funny because I have kids of my own, And, for our personal choice, we asked that our kids not have any social media. And now their mom is all over social media
Right.
because of her music. And, they understand that. It's because, that's the only way we could communicate and reach out to different people that we wouldn't have access to back in the day unless you hopped on a plane, unless you were driving 3 hours, 4 hours. I mean, I live in Texas now, and you're in California, and how cool is that we can connect even through social media? I know that I have family and friends that are listening to the interview now. Had we, many years ago, that wouldn't have been able to happen.
Right, right. I exactly, I understand exactly what you're saying, but do you think in some ways, that grind that you had to go through when you were starting out, making the connections, networking with the DJs and going to the different spots, don't you think that's a little bit more like artists of today, they don't have, they don't, since they don't do that, it kind of, to me, it seems like it's a little bit hampering on their career, their longevity, because they're not, like I said, they're not networking and making that, authentic connection.
I think so, but I think also I know for me as an appreciation for DJs and radio stations such as yourself, to make that effort. If I was in California, I would probably make a trip down to Salinas and say, hey, thank you so much for supporting my music. So in actuality, it really depends on the artist. I couldn't tell you. It's been a while since I've released a song. So, I appreciate, right now for me, I appreciate the fact that social media is available for me to be able to reach and bridge the different audiences that probably I didn't have before. Even with social media, people didn't know who Jocelyn Enriquez, what she looked like. Now they have, that access to that. They have access even, however much I put of my personal life on social media. Back then, unless we were meeting face to face. But at the same time, for me, I just had a meet and greet in Ceremony, and I was able to have conversations and get to know certain, the audience that listened to my music 25 years ago, and even now to be able to connect with them. I guess it's because for me, how absence makes the heart grow fonder.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's where I'm at right now.
Well, I think one of the things that's definitely beneficial, with your career is that, you did go through that time period when there was no social media and you had to do this stuff. Whereas like younger artists I deal with now, there's a good percentage of them. Like I'll find out about their music, online, and I'll reach out to them and I'll say, hey, I'm playing your song. I would love to have you, on my show. And they'll be like, and they won't even make any response because they're so, oblivious to how radio works. They think everything is just about social media, and that's all they need to do.
Yeah, well, everybody has to learn somehow.
Right.
I wouldn't be able to talk for them, but I know, they'll have to learn, because you have to have connection with the people that support your music, and are there to help you with your career. So I don't know. It's really on them. They're only missing out. But that's not me.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's not me.
Yeah. No, not in any way. That is not you. I'm not saying that in any way. You mentioned it before. Being the mother, you have a daughter and 3 boys. Being the mother of 4 children, how does that affect some of your career decisions? Like, what are you doing different now than you might not have done, back when you first started? Are there any changes that came about because being a parent?
Well, it's funny that you asked me that. With the I think 15 plus years of absence in the music industry, I have gone through life. I had some great life changes, some hard changes. I've learned a lot even through my mistakes. And so definitely the outlook that I look at now is, even as far as my music career, it has to mean something to me. So for instance, To Love Again, the song that I wrote with my son and with a good friend of mine here in Texas, where it talks about, you know what? I remember the feeling of being on stage, and, for a long time, I was in complete denial, like, the industry is not for me anymore. I'm a mom. I'm settled. I'm also in ministry. So for sure, this is not God's plan for me to do music. But in reality, it's bringing everything back, coming to full circle, to be able to share and implement the things that I've learned in life, good and bad, to be able to put it onto music and for people to be able to relate to it. I think there's definitely, for me, the content of my material has to be something that I believe in. And so, with To Love Again, that was an introduction, if you will, again, to my audience who've been there for years, and realizing that, the music has lived on, and it's time again for me to be able to share the gift of music with my audience of 25 years ago and even now. And so, I am very mindful of what my kids are listening to. I'm very mindful of, how are they going to be proud of mom at the end of the day after all the music is said and done. And so I have that mindset, but at the same time, I also know how to have fun. And so I've, with the help of my husband and with lots of prayer, I'm able to find that balance. And now I'm really just enjoying the music industry all over again, but way better. I hope that makes sense. No,
absolutely. So would it be safe to say that to love again, love being the metaphor for to perform again? Because it seems like no matter how far away you get from where you were and think that, I'm never going back to that, whatever, that bug is always in you. And it just takes, one small instance to give you the urge to go back and do it again.
Yes. And, it happened to me 2 years ago when I performed at the Greek Theater. And this is when I was able to perform with old colleagues of mine, artists from the Bay Area. And it was so neat because, we all were on the stage, 20 years ago. But 20 years later, there's a camaraderie and an appreciation for the art of music. And it was such a sweet reunion. And I was terrified when I performed at the Greek Theater. I was like, why did my husband agree to this? Like, what is wrong with him? Kind of thing. But as soon as the music settled and the audience just truly received me with love, it was perfect. There's no other way to explain it other than with the song To Love Again.
Right.
And so I hope and I pray that message is conveyed, as an appreciation for the people that have supported JE Music throughout all these years. And even now I'm able to hear, through social media and through the meet and greet and having that show I did this past weekend in the Bay Area, to be able to hear their stories and how much of an impact it made on their lives. It was like, wow, thank goodness I'm able to share that even now.
No question. So, you brought up, running or catching up with some of the acts, after 20 years or so. What was the atmosphere like, between, say, like yourself, Angelina, MG, and other acts like that in the mid-'90s when you guys were all trying to, establish yourselves on the local scene and nationally? Were you guys, a little bit, standoffish with each other, or, what was it like?
it wasn't so much that we were standoffish. I think it was we were all focused. We were focused on our own individual careers. I know I could say that for me. So, if I look to the left or to the right, I would, I would probably not be able to focus on what I needed to do as an artist. We were cordial. It was nothing but love when we shared the stage, but it was all business, if you will. It was all business. Get on stage, do your thing, and then, meet whoever you need to meet, and that's it. So now looking back, it would be so cool to be able to do that again, but with a different perspective. Right.
Well, there's definitely still time to, get back in there and go, full speed, if you chose to. There's a whole new crop of younger artists here in the Bay that I know for a fact were definitely influenced by you when you were, first coming out. So who knows to say you could, share the stage with some of the younger kids.
That would be really, really cool. I remember when I did the Greek, I was like, okay, 3 things. Pretend you could still dance. 2, remember your words. And 3, act like you've been doing this for how many years, irregardless if people have seen you. So that was my thing. And, I was able to perform after how many years in the Bay Area where I was born and raised, and to be able to receive so much love. It was really overwhelming. I mean, there were so many times where I had to make sure, don't cry, because it was overwhelming.
Right.
And again, I know without a shadow of a doubt, this is just the beginning of something, that, again, Lord willing, I'll be able to impact lives again with my music. And so, it's going through the journey all over again with a different perspective. So I'm really excited about that. We're actually working in the studio right now on more material, and so I'm excited, and to be able to collaborate with different producers and songwriters, and I'm able to write music now too. I think it's really cool.
Well, you were mentioning when we first got on the line before we came on the air, you were mentioning there's a remix in the works for To Love Again. Beyond that, is there like an EP or an album planned, or what do we have to look forward to?
We are currently in the studio working on a Christmas single as we speak, and then the next single should be dropping early next year. Mm-hmm. So, just taking it one thing at one day at a time. I don't even know if they make albums anymore, to be honest with you, but yeah, just one project at a time for me, and just putting out the best quality for music, for people that love music and appreciate music. And I'm really excited also for the remixes of To Love Again. So this is just the beginning for the To Love Again song.
Are the remixes completely done and you're just waiting on mastering, or do you still have work to do?
They're still in the works. So we have several remixers working on it right now. So, yeah.
Okay, got you. Before I let you go, I always got to throw some kind of social commentary thing in there, to make it seem like it's not just the regular standard, fluffy interview. So I wanted to pick your brain on...
fluffy.
Huh?
You're fluffy.
Easy there. So let me ask you about this. In the last 2 years, it's been a big movement in the Hollywood scene, the whole Me Too thing. Have you ever noticed or been, maybe victim to anything like that in the music industry? And how do you deal with it if you were put in that situation?
Honestly, I am not really aware of what is going on in the Me Too movement, and and it's my personal choice. For for me, I've never experienced, even in the industry, I never experienced that. So I think that's God's covering on me. But to each his own. And I'm just thankful that I was never a victim of that. Mm-hmm. And I'll just leave it at that.
Okay, no problem. I just wanted to, see where your thoughts were on that. And so it's all good. If people want to catch up with you on social media, how can they do that?
Oh, I know this one. I just learned this one.
Awesome.
So they can find me on Facebook and Instagram, Jocelyn Enriquez Official. And my Twitter is JE Music.
There you go. And there's also a Jocelyn Enriquez website, right?
No, I believe it's just Facebook and Instagram.
Oh, I thought you had an actual website for yourself. My bad.
I have no idea. That's a good question. When I find out, I will get you the answer. How's that?
That's a good deal right there. All right. So To Love Again, real quick, tell me what I got to know about this before we get into it.
This is the new single, Jocelyn Enriquez, after 15 years of absence in the music industry. It is a song dedicated to all the people that have appreciated my music throughout the years, and also the people that are now being introduced to my music. Thank you so much for letting me share my heart with you, and I pray that this music will resound not only in the ear but in your heart. And thank you very, very much for playing my song and supporting it. It means a lot to me, because without you, I wouldn't be able to be heard on the airwaves. So I really appreciate all your support.
Well, it's all good. That's what I'm here for, to continue to support, freestyle and dance, and especially that stuff coming out of the Bay Area, because it is the hometown. So definitely got to do that. This right here, the brand new music. This is Jocelyn Enriquez, To Love Again. Hold on the line. I'm going to talk to you real quick off the air. And, for on-air purposes, thanks for calling in tonight.
Thank you very much.